All right.
Sounds good.
Here we go.
By the power of Grayskull.
And by the power of Grayskull, I am Michael.
I am John.
And I'm Andrew. This week, it's kind of hard to tell everybody. I don't know if anybody will figure out what we're talking about this week. It is a big milestone for us. We made it to 20 episodes, and so we are talking about none other than She-Ra. And so it's going to be a fun conversation. Oh, no, sorry. We're talking about...
wants to hear about She-Ra, they'll have to wait a while for another episode. Yeah.
There's going to be another episode about She-Ra. We are talking about He-Ran. We are talking about Masters of the Universe, and we have a special guest with us tonight. We have Damien from the Geek Together podcast. So, Damien, introduce yourself.
Yep, I think you did a pretty good job. That's all you need to know. Damien from the Geek Together podcast. I am a avid Masters of the Universe collector. It's very nostalgic to me. I grew up watching the show. I don't remember a lot of it, and I've tried to go back and watch it, but it's kind of rough. It doesn't hold up well.
It doesn't hold up well.
But it doesn't matter. It still brings back the feels, and I just love the characters anyway. And I just remember playing with the toys with my brothers, and so right now I'm going through a wave of like recapturing my childhood and just buying up everything I can Masters of the Universe. So and there seems to be a huge resurgence, so it's kind of perfect.
And I think I'm doing the same thing. I'm buying a bunch of MOTU stuff right now. I would have to say the cartoon does not hold up, but I think that I don't want to get political or anything, but I think politics would maybe benefit if they'd go back and watch the last 30 seconds of every cartoon and get that how to be a human being.
That'd be great.
But maybe that'd be good for him. So let He-Man show you how to be a better person. So we are talking about Masters of the Universe. We've got a lot to talk about. So I don't want to do too much here, but John, before we get into that, why don't you tell people where they can find us?
Where to find us? All right, Instagram and Twitter at Toy Rewind Pod. Don't forget to look us up on Facebook. We have our group there to join in the conversations and everything. You can check us out on Twitch, twitch.tv/Toy Rewind, as we showcase our toy box showcases on Twitch and Facebook. So you'll see those there. You can play our podcast bingo at podcastbingo.com/Toy Rewind. You can email us, toyrewindpodcast@gmail.com, with anything you know about the toys we're talking about or any suggestions of what you want to hear us talk about. Don't forget to check us out. We've also got our YouTube channel now. Trying to get all that reworked out, so just kind of search for us on that one till we get the right things set up on that one.
Or the links on the website too. So
the links on the website, which is toyrewindpodcast.com.
Yeah, so check us out. Remember, make sure you jump into those conversations, follow us and everything, because we don't have a standard schedule when we go live and we do our toolbox showcases. So be sure to follow us.
Throw them on there, and then I catch them and be like, "Oh, you're going live, huh?"
Yeah, we did one Friday. It was about lunchtime. So John joined us shortly after lunch and jumped in. He was in his truck, just got off work. So
I was just leaving. So I was like, "Oh, I guess I'll jump on."
You never know when those are going to be. So be sure you follow us, check them out. If you do miss them, like John said, go check them out on YouTube and follow us there. Give us a big thumbs up, subscribe. We love that. So. And check all that out. So having lots of fun. We are going to be doing a lot this week. We have a lot of things to showcase with Masters of the Universe. Obviously, we may have Damien on for a few things, just because I know he's an avid collector. He's got a bunch of stuff to show that he could show off. I've got a Castle Grayskull here behind me. We've got a lot of Funko Pops we're going to open. I've got a 10-inch Skeletor I'm going to open, take a good look at it. I've got the new figures that have been released at Walmart. We want to take a look at those. I actually want to get those and put them around Castle Grayskull because I think it'll be a lot better than.
Are you buying two of each?
No, I'm not. I'm being nice.
Yeah, I am. I'm buying two of each.
I don't care if they get opened or not. I want to,
Yeah, what's one to rock, one to stock.
Yeah, I don't know if Bryony would be happy if I had that much stuff in storage. I still have boxes from when we moved that I haven't opened, like storage stuff. So. I don't know if she'd be happy if we had that much. So, But yeah, so be sure to check us out. Be sure to follow us. Jump in the conversations. We'd love to hear what you guys have to think about Masters of the Universe, especially. This is like I said, this is a big one. We are, big 20 episodes, and we're good. So, all right, let's jump into our fun for all question. This one, I came up with this one as we were talking about just that we were going to do MOTU, and I've been saving it for this. But Michael, you're going to go first. Then we'll go. And no, let's be nice. We'll let Damien go first since he found out about the question like 3 minutes ago. We'll let him go first, guest, and then Michael, John, and then I'll go last because that's what I get to do because I'm the host.
You're always last.
All right, so here's a question: what mythical sword would you want to take on a quest if you were going on a quest?
Well, to keep in line with the theme of the show, and that I don't really have any allegiance toward any mythical swords, I would probably just say the power sword. Because look, I could transform. If I had a cat or something, maybe I got a ride. Maybe it works on my car. If it fast forward, I don't know what it's limited to, so that'd be nice. Who wouldn't want to turn into a massive, powerful human thing? Right there, you go. That's what I would think.
That's a pretty good one. Like we're talking about it, so it's got to be a pretty good one. So
yeah, so that works for me. There's a lot of good options. Don't get me wrong, but
so Michael,
yeah, thinking about it, you got the swords from Lord of the Rings. You've got Voltron's sword. You got Optimus Prime has a sword too, but I'm going, old school with. Excalibur. I'd have to go with Excalibur with King Arthur and all that. I really like that story and all that. I think just growing up, I watched The Sword and the Stone, the Disney animated movie, so many times that it just kind of ingrained in my mind. But yeah, I think Excalibur would be my pick on that.
So we need to get you a stone and put a sword in it.
Yeah, there you go.
You got a big enough property out there. We could probably do that pretty easily.
We just set it outside, down there by the tire guy.
And then we can have all the kids go out there and pretend like they can try to.
Yeah.
It's like that one they have at Disney in the middle of the park where everybody tries to pull the sword out.
Yeah. We put a little trigger on there that we know how to do it, but make sure the kids don't know how to do it. Just totally. Oh,
yeah.
I feel a project coming on.
Yep.
All right, John, your turn.
I guess me being me, I'm a big Zelda fan, so I'll take the Master Sword.
That was my second. That's a good one.
On top of that, I wouldn't mind taking that one, and if I could have a second one, I'd take Sting from the Lord of the Rings or from Hobbit. So,
if there were any goblins around,
right?
Yeah, that could be good. Yeah.
That'd probably be good with
be some surprises for you.
Yeah. Those are all really good answers, but I'm sorry to tell you they're all wrong. I had some trouble with this one because I couldn't decide if I wanted to go with Voltron's flaming sword or blazing sword, or if I wanted to go with the Hero's Omen sword from Thundercats.
Sword of Omens.
Yeah, sort of. I think that one would be what I would go. I'd go with the Omen sword because I don't know, just holding it up, looking through it. Who else wants to put a sword that close to your face right before you start slashing people? So that would have to be what I would go with. Even though I would hope that I would be in some situation where I could just pull them out because I'm in a game and just use all of them. They should put all of these into
like on a key ring.
Yeah, it's like a key ring.
Pick a sword.
They should totally do something like that in Ready Player 3. I don't know. And maybe they do in Ready Player 2. I haven't read it yet.
I haven't read it yet.
I've got it. I need to read it. Well, there you go. Those are all of our swords. And I'm sure we'll be talking about, I don't know if we're talking about your sword at any time, Michael. John, we've kind of chatted about yours. We're talking about MOTU today, and Thundercats is coming up. We've talked about Voltron. So, yeah, Thundercats will be coming up at some point. So, all right. Well, there's your fun for all question. There's the swords that we all, would stick with. So if you're listening to this, let us know what you'd listen to, or what you'd listen to. What sword you would take on your mythical quest. I know Agent Tony Stark would be probably right there with you, John, because I know he likes some Zelda. He likes to play some Zelda. So
yes,
Rainey would like Sword of Omens because she just finished up watching that whole series.
She did. That's right.
Yeah, she just finished it.
That didn't you say that one actually held up?
Yeah, it held
A
up
little bit?
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, we talked about that on Silverhawks, I believe.
Yeah, Thundercats and I think Transformers did a little bit too. Yeah, there's some that didn't like Damien said. Masters of the Universe is kind of rough here and there.
Well, I think it's kind of hard too when it's a cartoon to sell toys, right?
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah,
Which is what we've seen doing this
Exactly.
podcast. We've seen a lot of cartoons that just don't hold up as well.
Yeah.
Well,
there is a new one coming out, right? So
yeah,
I'm very excited about the new movie. I'm hoping that it's good. So
I'm a big Kevin Smith fan, so I'm hoping Kevin Smith can do right by the series. He's obviously a MOTU fan.
Yeah, I hope it sticks. Unlike the original movie that had nothing to do with.
Well, yeah, that's my point. I mean, when you look back at Masters of the Universe, like the toys, they hold up. They're
right.
awesome.
The toys are freaking amazing.
And in my opinion, like from a villain standpoint, Skeletor is just freaking awesome. Like I love him for any mythical villain. The design of them, they nailed it out. They knocked it out of the park with Skeletor, I think. But the shows and the movie, you don't really have a whole lot to lean back on them. Just like, oh, we gotta go watch that. I tried to watch it with my kids one time. And I looked at them. I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry, we can't.
I watched it not long ago, and I got through it, and everybody else was looking at me like, "Really, you're making me watch this?"
It's pretty rough, right? It is pretty rough. It's very campy.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that Kevin Smith, who's doing the new version of it, the She-Ra show has been pretty good though.
The She-Ra on Netflix, it's been pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, this was on Netflix too, so he's doing it for Netflix. The new Masters of the Universe. So hopefully I mean, the cast is fantastic, the voice actors and everything. So I'm hoping.
Yeah. I'm hoping it'll be good because, I've watched some with the boys when it was like a few years ago, and I was like, I promise this was a lot better when I was a kid.
Oh yeah, it was definitely.
great.
I remember that was a thing. Like I'd set an alarm to it. We would not miss it.
Yeah.
So, since we're jumping into that, Michael, I believe it's your turn to give us the history about how this thing started, Mr. Historian.
Yeah, we got quite a bit to cover on the history here. So, if y'all want to jump in anytime just to say something. But He-Man is pretty much He-Man and the Masters of the Universe pretty much came out of necessity of Mattel needing an action figure line. Their two biggest lines of Hot Wheels and Barbie just didn't fit that segment of the toy industry. And since they actually turned down George Lucas with Star Wars in the late 70s, which was picked up by Kenner, we spoke about before. The action figures, they had Flash Gordon and Clash of the Titans, but they just didn't fit the bill on couldn't stand up to what Star Wars did with Kenner. So Mattel needed something to defeat the toys from a galaxy far, far away, pretty much. So they conceived He-Man. It was a 5.5-inch toy line that debuted in 1982. There was a toy designer for Mattel back in the 70s and 80s named Roger Sweet. He came up with a concept that was inspired by Conan the Barbarian, and then also concept art from Mark Taylor, who was a packaging designer for Mattel at the time as well. So Roger Sweet actually came up with 3 different figures he mocked up, which used the big Jim figures they had during the 70s. Mm-hmm. So he took the big Jim and put a bunch of modeling clay on it, kind of beefed him up a little bit, made him look like a barbarian type guy. And he made 3 different ones. There was a spaceman one that had kind of a Boba Fett type helmet. And then there was a soldier, had a tank for a head, which looked kind of silly. And then they had the barbarian who had an axe. And they were all called He-Man. All 3 of them were the same name. And then he took it to, is it Roy Wagner? Ray Wagner? I can't remember his first name, but Wagner. He was the CEO for Mattel at the time. And he actually picked the barbarian He-Man to be the basis of the line, Masters Universe line. So the line was initially named Lord of Power, but at the last minute, the higher ups at Mattel decided it sounded kind of too religious, so they changed it. They changed Lords of Power to Masters of the Universe.
Yeah, Lords of Power doesn't roll off your tongue as well as Masters of the Universe or MOTU.
No.
Lop.
MOTU sounds a lot better than Law.
MOTU sounds a lot better. Yeah. Glad they changed that.
Yeah. So, and then Mark Taylor, who had drawings and designs of stuff that they used for He-Man. He actually came up for the design for Skeletor, drawing on past experiences. I heard him interview about he went to a fair and went to this haunted house, and a skeleton popped out and kind of freaked him out a little bit. So he kind of went with that experience. And then he'd also, with him being, he did sketches and stuff. He did one called The King of Sticks back in the early 70s. He actually drew from that as well, which he got from that skeleton. But so he came up with Skeletor and several other of the characters throughout the line. When creating the first wave, tooling funds were running low. They were just kind of limited on how much money they can spend. So they went back to that gym, the big gym line. As at the time they still had it, but they were using it over in foreign markets. It wasn't here in the U.S., but they had a tiger that they used in that line, and they went back to that and adapted that tiger to be He-Man's Battle Cat. They did have a problem. One of the designers that was assigned to Battle Cat, he did have a problem with it because it said it was too large and didn't fit the scale with the 5.5 line, and he was pretty much told to slap a saddle on it, and He-Man could ride him. So that's what they did. They just put a big saddle on him, and since it wasn't real life, it was Eternia, a different world, so the cats were bigger, I guess, over there. So that's what they used. So. That's
another one of those great decisions that they made.
Yeah. So it turned out pretty good. Yeah. So all the figures, they came with a generous amount of weapons and accessories, and they also had some kind of battle action feature like Power Punch, which was generated by a spring-loaded waist. When you turn them, you let go and he would spin around and punch. They also, but as the line went on, the accessories got fewer and fewer, and more emphasis on the action feature gimmicks, such as battle damage, which I remember pretty well. I think we had a He-Man with battle damage before.
We did.
Also, at that time, Mattel decided to cater to the girls by introducing She-Ra, who ended up being He-Man's sister, and the evil horde led by Hordak. But like we said, that's for another episode down the road. We'll talk about that. But with the release of the cartoon series, which actually ran for 130 episodes for 2 seasons, and also going with that cartoon series, they said it was the first series that started out in syndication with 52 episodes. So, but with that, the sales outperformed more than anyone at Mattel had imagined. So, the first year, 1982, it was like 38 million. 83 jumped to 88 million. 84, 111 million. 85, 250 million. And by 86, they were selling $400 million worth of toys.
Yeah, I think they really hit the market at the right time here because, like you said, they were fighting with having to come up with something for Star Wars, to answer to Star Wars.
Yeah.
That those figures that they had passed on. And by the time they came up with these, they got them designed, they got them out to the market. Star Wars had started to dip a little bit.
Yeah.
So they come out at just the right time. And even though they've had some bumps along the way with some of the things that they've done, I don't think MOTU has had an issue since then. I mean, I'm sure they've dropped off, they're not producing anything, but they've been pretty strong for the 40 years.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned. I mean,
I think there was a dark era, like probably the 90s.
Yeah, and
or shortly after 86 when it peaked, that it really dropped off when they got crazy and started introducing just a ton of figures and everything like that, which probably you'll find some rare figure there that nobody bought and probably worth a ton. And then I think the resurgence is more recent. I mean, what's the 20 year now? That's what, 20, yeah, or I don't, what's he gonna? I don't even know. Well, you said they came out in 80 so more than that, 30, 42.
So it's almost,
yeah. No, yeah. It's
40 years, almost 40 years.
It's 35.
Almost 40 years.
Yeah.
Almost 40 years at this point,
So,
right? A couple
yeah,
more years.
makes us feel old now.
There's definitely been some, like I said, some hiccups in there with some of the figures, but I don't know. I was looking back at all the waves, all the different stuff that's been released, especially, like through the years as things with technologies coming out with different stuff, like there's been decently strong toys in all of it. There's been, like I said, there's been some crazy stuff. I'm looking at you, Grizzlor, but there's some crazy stuff, but then there's obviously been some pretty good stuff in there too. So
yeah, I agree, and I think I'm approaching my mid 40s at this point, and so I grew up right in the middle of it, right in the sweet spot. Like I think when they first came out, based on the years, I was 7 years old when they came out, so I'm hitting the swing of it. And I remember, I think they were $5 retail or something like that. I don't know. I don't know the price when they first came out.
$4.97 is what they were.
$5. Because I remember my allowance every week, it was spent going to Walmart and buying a Masters of the Universe figure, and that was like my favorite moment, or Christmas. That's all it was. It was like looking for the wrapping that was obviously a MOTU figure. Yeah, they just wrap it without being in a box. And I remember getting those pieces, and then now we look at all of us in our 40s, mid 40s, late 30s, whatever that had these toys, and now there's a massive resurgence out there. Every time I turn around, there's a new release. Super 7 had the license. Now Mattel's coming back out with them again with their origin line. Sideshow, I got all the Sideshow statues. Mega Blocks. Now it seems like right now it's probably the biggest that MOTU merchandise has been since then.
Yeah. So I gotta say, so those Mega Blocks come out because that Castle Grayskull is pretty legit. And I know you said you have it. I would love to have that one, but I can't purchase it because I'm such a Lego person. I dislike Mega Blocks with everything in my soul. John's got some of the figures right behind him.
I came across these in a package just with the figures, and and this was last week, and I literally was just rummaging through the store, and they had this package of this, and I was like, you know what? We're fixing to do MOTU. I'll buy these, and I got them for like $5.
You didn't even know they were Mega Blocks when you got them, did you?
I didn't know what they were at the time. I just saw that they were. I mean, there's Skeletor, He-Man, Faker, Beastman, Mossman, and then what is it? Yella? Yella? However you pronounce her name.
Yeah. So I mean, the resurgence of this is great. Yeah, I don't know which that is, John.
It's the Constructs pack with like 5 characters in it or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I had that one.
So
yeah, I mean sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say there were some crazy figures that released. I know we'll probably talk about some of these, like Grizzlor, who's basically a big furball. The look on Merman's face just makes me laugh every time I see it. The battle. So we did have some battle damage. We had a battle damage He-Man, and I think by the time I got hold of him, he had a lot more battle damage just around his body than just the little chest plate. But I don't think so. When I purchased the pieces at Walmart, the 6 I don't know, the first, I guess the first, I don't know, whatever wave it was that I got at the store, Beastman was in there. And I don't think I've ever really looked at his face that well until I purchased those. His face is terrifying. Like it gives me nightmares every time I see it. And I don't know why, like he's got the big blue cheeks. Like, I don't know. Seems pretty interesting. Triclops is a cool one. I liked him. There's just so many interesting.
I always love Manny faces. I love that figure. The turn in the head. Orko. I mean, he was annoying in the show, but you just got to have him. Ram Man. I loved Ram Man because you just push him down. He was loaded and bust him into things. I'm definitely more aligned toward the original wave, the 82 to 86 wave that was in the original cartoon. They've had many waves since then, right? But like Buzz Off, Clamp Champ, all those are the ones that I really kind of aligned to. And then I did. I mean, I know it's a different show, but Mechanic, that was it. Mechanic's the one I was thinking of. You turn him and his head goes way up. Oh
yeah. I get a kick out of Stinkcore.
Stinkcore.
The stuff that they used in his mold they said it pretty much made the whole factory, all the people in the factory, sick because the smell was just awful. So
another one here that I'm looking at, which is a Roboto. I'm looking at a picture here. Reminds me of the Gearman off of Rick and Morty. I can't think of who it is. Clint would be able to tell me exactly
the way around. The Gearman.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he's influenced by him. But like as I'm looking at him, that's the first thing I thought.
Oh, that's absolutely 100%. When I saw the Gearman Rick and Morty, that's exactly what I thought of. Mossman, I love too. I don't know. I still remember getting that package, and he's like, smells like pine saw.
I remember the first time I picked up a flocked Funko Pop. And I was like, "Oh, it's flocked." And my wife was like, "What was that?" I was like, "Oh, like Mossman from Masters of the Universe." He's like,
she's like, "What's that?"
Yeah, I had no idea. It was,
You're not helping me anywhere.
Nope, not at all. Yeah. So, all right. So, how far did you take us, Michael, in the history before we?
We were 1986. Like I said, they did $400 million. Then in 1987, they went from $400 million to just $7 million in 1987. It was just a huge, huge hit. They said the main reason was because of inventory. There was too many supporting characters and not enough He-Man, Skeletors, and with the Hot Wheel stuff that I deal with, we saw this a lot in the about 2010, 2011, a lot of series came out, and they would fill the shelves up with just certain cars, and by the time you get to the end of the next series, nobody was buying because the retailers were so packed full of the others. Then they were harder to find, and then the sale, just because nobody could find the whole sets, and the certain cars they needed, the whole line just didn't work.
And MOTU, I believe, if I remember, and I remember this from the Toys That Made Us episodes and some other things I read, where to your point, that the inventory was so messed up that they just re-released inventory they had, and the popular ones were gone.
Yeah.
And so there wasn't a Skeletor to be had. Like, nobody cares.
You got the new kids coming in wanting the He-Man and Skeletor, but they couldn't find it. So why have Masters of the Universe if you don't have your He-Man or Skeletor?
Yeah, all they're getting is Webster and Ninjor, and Buzz Off. Yeah, exactly.
So,
which
are cool. They're cool, but you gotta have the original.
You gotta have those main heroes and that main villain. To be able to tell the other henchmen and stuff what to do.
Yeah, like every wave Funko releases, there's a new Skeletor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's all
and He-Man.
Yeah. Right. But at that time, Mattel hoped that the movie would revive the line. The movie actually flopped. So, from what I understand, the movie actually, when they started making the movie, it was before they had already started on the screenplay and all that kind of stuff before He-Man actually was in the comic books and stuff like that. So they had a whole different story going on. And then by the time they made the movie, and then it was held for a couple years before it was released, is what I understand.
Mm-hmm.
So it was way off from what we knew as the cartoon series and the comic books and all that lore that came along with it. It was completely different. So it had nothing, and some of the characters were just probably 3 or 4 characters were the same, and the rest were different characters. And it just
they completely scrapped Orko for the movie because of cost. What it would have cost at that point.
Nowadays it would be much better. It's like hard to give it, but that was a horrible movie. I mean,
it really was. And
it's not even bad enough to be like a cult classic or campy. You know what I mean? Like, it's just bad.
Yeah. There's no saving it. Like, I'll watch it every once in a while just because.
You're better than I am.
It's He-Man, and like, well, I don't know how much I actually watch. I'll turn it on, and it's in the background.
I can't do it.
But
did you know there was supposed to be a second one?
Yeah, there was. Yeah.
And they ended up turning it into another movie. What was it? Cyclops or something. I can't remember what the name of the movie was. But it ended up turning into a complete different movie. Had nothing to do with Masters of the Universe.
The set that they did that was actually inside of Eternia, or the castle, was the largest Hollywood set ever built at that point.
Wow.
They actually had to tear down a wall between two studios to build it the size that they wanted. I read up a bunch about the movie. So
I was
be
doing some reading before that, and I saw the plot for the second movie, and it might have been the worst movie.
Oh yeah.
The only way it could have been.
I know.
Have you seen the plot that they had, the screenplay for?
I didn't say. I know Jean-Claude Van Damme ended up in that movie that they ended up making it into, but yeah.
So Canon Films, who made the original
Mhm.
Masters of the Universe movie, obviously they couldn't get Dolph Lundgren because he hated the first movie and he wasn't going to do anything with it, right? The screenplay for the second movie had He-Man back on Earth, disguised as a pro quarterback, while Skeletor would be on Earth, masquerading as an evil CEO named Aaron Dart. I mean, you put that together, like it must have been a contest of like, how bad can we go?
Yeah. I do know there was a lot of changes to the script also as they were filming,
Yes.
because Dolph Lundgren and Frank Langella, who played Skeletor, would mention something and say something, and then they would immediately change it. Most of Skeletor's lines in that movie were actually things that Frank Langella had came up with to say, and that's why he actually had some lines, and they were decent lines and not this. Apparently, there's a lot of stupid stuff in the script.
I'm sure. It was.
So, he actually got some good lines. They actually, the reason that they did most of it on Earth and not in Eternia was because of cost. So most of it happens here. That's less sets you have to build, less crazy characters you have to build. But then the director, I can't even remember who directed it, did enjoy the cartoon to a point that he had to have some of it. He forced them to have some of it, which gave us the scenes and a few things that we do actually have out of there.
Which then makes sense. I mean,
sense.
it's one of those things they probably should have waited to make till like now.
Oh yeah.
Right.
I mean, now you get the right person behind it. It would be amazing.
That's I think what we're all hoping for. We're hoping
Yeah.
for that universe and not as campy as the cartoon. Like we don't want a copy of that. We want the characters, which I think are all badass. I mean, and let's be honest, let's talk about it for real. Like we don't care about the movie. I don't really care about the cartoon. It's the toys.
Yeah, it's the toys.
Where's the vehicle anyway? The whole point of everything else we're talking about was to sell toys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the reason I can watch the movie, the reason I can watch the cartoon is because of the toys. Because I have a fondness for those. Yep. I'm like, I want to see this on the screen. I want to, I can watch it. I can't watch much of it, but I can watch it. So give me something real to watch, man. I'm there all day.
Yeah.
You got a pandemic in place. You got a Heroes or a He-Man movie coming to theaters. I'm going to see it. I'll figure it out.
Exactly.
Yeah. I remember it. I don't know if you two remember the kids that lived a couple houses down from us. Was it Andy and Tim?
On Woodland Hills?
Yeah, on Woodland Hills. They were
corner.
Yeah, no, it was right next to Jim and Brenda, our neighbors.
Oh, okay.
The one right next to the creek.
Next to the creek.
They were huge MOTU fans. They had all the characters. When the movie came out, they went to see the movie. It was I just remember all that, and that's all they talked about was Masters of the Universe. And
Did they have a Grayskull?
I don't remember if they had a Grayskull, but I know they had all the regular figures.
Because I remember playing with the Castle Grayskull, but I know we never had one.
No.
So maybe it was there or something. I don't know.
Yeah, we had a lot of other different toys. We had a couple, like I said, the He-Man. We had a battle damage He-Man. I remember we had Orko, but those are really the only two that I can remember that we had.
I remember. I think we had a sorceress. Or it may have been a Tila. I don't remember which one it was.
The leech looks very familiar too, having that suction cup on him.
Yeah, that was a Horde member.
Yeah,
later on, but
I had that one. I remember the slime pit with the Horde.
Mm-hmm.
When it came out, when the Princess of Power stuff was coming out, and they marketed the Horde toward the boys, and then everything else.
Another line of slime in it, yeah.
Yeah, with the slime in it, yeah, pour the slime in it, and everything got covered in it. But I had the Snake Mountain, and I had the Castle Grayskull. I mean, I was all in.
Yeah,
I was like my brothers.
They had that the Snake Mountain because it had the microphone. I remember.
Yeah.
That.
Yes. Yep. Had the microphone. Yep.
I vaguely remember a Jitsu, but I don't remember if it was a Jitsu or if we had if it was a team, what's his name character? What's his name?
B.A. Baracus.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you can use this.
I can't remember.
Yeah,
I don't remember which one it was. I remember having a toy like that, so it may have been Jitsu. I don't know. Just looking back at these, they just. I mean, these are all amazing toys.
I didn't have all of them. Definitely, we didn't have all of them. So it was like a pick and choose of what we had. Now, as an adult buying for myself, it's going a different way. I'm buying like every single thing that I can. I mean, I started buying the Super 7 stuff, the Matty World Collector Series, Matty Collectors, a bunch of that stuff. Not all those either, because they're hard.
Yeah,
they're expensive. I've been buying old played with lots on eBay from people with like Castle Grayskull and Snake Mountain and just a box of MOTU pieces.
See, I know a couple years ago. So Bryony got me the Castle Grayskull for Father's Day. And when she ordered it, she thought it was an original. She thought it was one from the 80s, but this is actually early 2000s that I have, which I actually like. It's still pretty cool. Like I've actually, it didn't come with all the pieces. So I got to have some fun doing some hunting on eBay to find the right pieces to finish it off and everything. But she got a really good price on it. And it's given me a good chance to, like, now, as much as I wanted to get the figures, I needed an excuse. Because I try to be good about that. Like I have a bunch of Batman stuff, and I get them because it's Batman, and then everything else I try to have a reason. This podcast has been a reason why I've gotten a lot of stuff. So
it's for business purposes.
Yeah, it's all business stuff at this point. That's the whole reason why I got that Voltron. We were walking through the store, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" And then I was like, "I should get this," and she said, "Yeah, you should." And so I got it. Like I'm not going to second guess.
For research purposes, right?
Yeah, it's totally research. So
journalism.
So yeah, I'm getting a bunch of them. I've only got the 6 right now, but I've been trying to look at them, trying to figure out more that I can get and figure out which characters. Obviously, I'm not going to end up with all of them, but I'm going to end up with as many as I can get. So. At good prices. I don't care if they're played with. I don't care if they're open.
Right.
If I can get a good price for it, why not?
All the characters they've come out with so far, what do they have? On the ones you're talking about, the Origin series, they have He-Man, Skeletor, Evil Lyn, Teela, Scareglow, Man-E-Faces, Man-at-Arms, Beastman, Trap John, or all must-haves.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like the core.
That's
and of course they have what's it called? Prince Adam on the what the heck is that thing called? Skyrider dealio, yes, going on there. They have that out now. Yeah, they put up for pre-order. There's a new Castle Grayskull.
Right, there's a new
which is Fortress, which I pre-ordered.
Of course.
Already. And they have a Panther coming out with Skeletor, right? So that's what they have so far. Now, obviously, these have been pretty successful, I think. Yeah, it's on the Sky Sled. So it's Prince Adam on the Sky Sled.
Yeah, the new Castle Grayskull is pretty much very close to the old mold, right?
It's yeah. I mean,
it's got a little slightly changes, but
the reason why they're called Origins is similar to what they're doing with the Transformer line too. They're doing the same thing.
Yeah,
with the G1 Collector Series, right? So the same thing they're doing here. They're pretty much exact.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, there's differences to know whether you have a first. Obviously,
yeah.
But
I know with these figures, they have extra articulation in their elbows and their knees.
Yeah.
But past that, they're pretty much the same mold.
Yeah, but they're going for the first run things. I'm sure there'll be some updated. Yeah, that's their big thing with new for. What do they say on the packaging? Retro play.
Yeah,
modern posing, retro play. That's it, right? So modern posing. So they've updated them for 2020, and but you're getting the same characters before. But the backer cards are like the same. The Castle Grayskull basis looks the same. I'm sure there'll probably be some things that are quality differences.
I do like the fact that the new He-Man comes with the sword, but he also has his axe. He's got his battle axe.
Yes.
Because the battle axe and the shield were his original 2 weapons that he had. And then he came with half the sword. Skeletor came with half the sword.
The other half the sword, yeah.
And they put it there, and you've got the key to the Castle Grayskull. So
right.
I do like the fact that they didn't just, they kept with that. They kept that, the battle axe.
That's cool, yeah.
Stuff. So I do need to get me a battle cat.
Yeah.
It's
you do.
Cool.
You got to have a battle cat.
He'll look good over there. Yeah. I just need to get him.
Yeah.
I'm looking at these on MOTU or on Mattel's site right now, and
no, they're awesome. I mean, now before that, very similar to these, I was buying the Super 7 ones.
Yeah.
But they don't have their articulation. They're basically more like the old school 5.5 inch.
But you've got what? Arms, knees, and waist, or no?
Yeah,
arms,
pretty
legs,
much,
and waist. That's it.
Yeah. Pretty much is what you have there, but they're pretty cool too. And the Super 7 also had the reaction line, so the smaller, more Kenner-like figures.
Yeah.
And I have anything Super 7 released with that. I have as well. That's MOTU, but they're all still carded and protected. I didn't take them out. Trying to think, and then Funko. I mean, you're a Funko collector. I'm a Funko collector. I have all the Funko stuff.
Yeah. So that was
coming out.
That was one thing. So I actually had a couple a few years ago, and then I went through a phase where I was looking at my collection with over 600 pops, and I was like, I didn't get any enjoyment out of most of them. I was literally just buying. If Funko put it out, I bought it. And so I purged and just kept Batman because that was the one thing that I really wanted. And now I look back and I'm like, there were some that I should have kept. I should have kept my Power Rangers. I should have kept my Darkwing Duck Pops. I should have kept the couple MOTUs that I had, because now I'm trying to get those back. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? Yeah.
So that's why I don't purge it anymore. That's why I have half a garage full of it. And I can go back and look now. And I actually went through a phase. So when I first started collecting Funko, Skeletor and DC are what got me into it. Mm-hmm. So pretty early on, like it was one of the first pops I ended up with was Skeletor. As soon as I saw it, and then I'm like, oh, these are kind of cool. And then I bought Batman and Flash, and then that's all. Then now I have half a garage full of bins of Funko. But I started buying multiples of them early on because I just wanted them for take them out of the box and trade. So and then like the exclusive stuff, I'd end up with 6 of each is kind of my general rule when I get them. So I just buy a master case. So they're good. So now it's worked out well because now I have lots of Ram Man and Scareglow and Disco Skeletors and
all right,
all these things.
We need to talk about this, Damien. I may be able to help you out a little bit. You can help me out. So
and like all the things that people are like, oh, I should have done this or I should have bought that. Now, because again, I don't collect for value necessarily, but I'll tell you what, you don't go wrong with MOTU stuff.
No,
you don't. It's never going to go below retail.
Right. And that's one thing, like, you know, I'm not a flipper. I don't like to do that, but there are some, I have a Zernarth Batman here that I picked up at Target for $8.95. And the morning that I picked it up, there were 3 other ones on the shelf that I kicked myself for not purchasing them. So that I could have traded them for value, you know, to get something.
The hobby is expensive, you know. I agree with you. I'm not going to the store to buy things or go online to buy things just to sell it right away.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's a lot of things I get because some things I bought that I don't care as much about have value to trade. It's a hobby, man. I mean, getting this room full of toys is not cheap.
And these MOTU characters, like all of them, like they're gonna be that's what they're gonna be for. You know, a lot of people are gonna start to do that.
Yeah, like the Target Faker.
Yeah,
got a lot of those. I mean, so and I don't, and trust me, my wife, you know, yes, my wife, she'd love if I sold some things. I don't sell things, but I don't do that with everything. It's not like I buy multiples of more things. Only thing that I really get multiples of, if I can, is MOTU. I'll take whatever. Like usually at cons too.
Well, next time I need something, I'm just going to call you, Damien, and be like, "Hey, do you have 7 of these? Because I can use one."
You can use one. Yeah.
So yeah, all right.
As my fellow podcaster, Robbie, he knows my problem there.
Yeah, it's, you know, and the good thing is with our community that we have going, we can all help each other in getting all the things that we like, the things that we want.
Yeah.
So
my wife will be like, "Is that seriously another Scareglow you got there?" I'm like, yeah. Don't ask. Like, because what I'll do, honestly, a lot of these like Ram Man and stuff like that during the cons, people are like, "Well, I don't have this, but I have like that. Fine, I'll take that." Yeah, sure.
Whatever.
I'll trade for that. Like I'll trade for extra MOTU.
You know,
I'll help you with it. Just give me the MOTU. It's fine. I'll take that. Mm-hmm. Or sometimes it'll be like during a con or something, and I'll ask a lot of people like, "Hey, if you can get this is what I'm looking for," and then everybody comes through. Yeah. And I'm not one to back out on a deal. Sometimes nobody can come through for you, right? And right. Sometimes every once in a while, everybody's like, "Oh wow, we were able to get the Ram Man for you." I'm like, "Yep, I'll make my commitments, and then I just get them. Yeah.
That's exactly why I have 2 of all of the Batmans, the artist series Batmans that released. I've got 2 of them because I had friends looking for them for me, and then I was trying to find them, and Target wasn't shipping to me because they didn't want to change my address. So I ended up with 2 of all of them, and now I'm just sitting on them for now because at some point somebody will want to trade something.
It's not a bad problem. Because in this world, you can't be like, hey, if you see it, let me know, because then they're gone.
Yeah, because then they'll be on. They'll be like, oh, I saw it, but you didn't answer your text. Yeah.
I put a bounty on it. Like, the bounty's out. Buy it, I'll buy it from you. I'm committed that I'll buy it if you get it until I turn it off. And then what'll happen is, like, everybody gets it in that restock, and I'm like, crap.
So, all right, what else do you have on history, Michael?
All right, it's a little bit more. See, the line was canceled after the 87, simply because it just nosedived. But Mattel did have a couple of new products in works for MOTU, but they were shipped out. Since they canceled it here in the States, it was shipped out to the Spanish and Italian toy markets, which and those actually have become some of the most rarest MOTU toys in existence because you can only get them through there. You had the laser power He-Man, and then let's see, the laser light Skeletor. Those were actually the last 2 He-Man and Skeletor figures. And with that, the laser power was actually the first time Mattel changed the face sculpt of He-Man. He looked more like Dolph Lundgren from the movie on that one. You know, the very last one, they changed it, so it didn't help it any. And then they had 2 more, the Giants. They had Titus and Megator. Those 2 were also in foreign markets as well. So, but that ended up with those last He-Man, Skeletor, and the 2 Giants ended up with 7 total waves of releases over the years. Like I said, with the last being the laser power He-Man and laser light Skeletor. Overall, there's a total of 70 figures. If you don't count the repaints and reissues, plus the 2 Giants, so pretty much 72 is what I figured out is 72 different figures in the line. So,
wow,
which is a lot. Yeah.
I mean, with that many figures, that many, we've talked about a lot of the play sets, the vehicles, the cats, everything. I mean, this is a huge line, and you've got to think there's got to be the crazy ones that we mentioned in there. So,
and you're right about the laser light. You can't find them anywhere. I've looked for them. The original ones, you can get customs.
Yeah.
And they're super expensive on the custom. Now, you can get the new, they had the collector series for adults, they called it. You know, they're what they're meant. That's what they call it. It's kind of a bad wording. I always thought, you know what I mean? Like, they say it right out of the box, right? It's like, I'm sorry, adult collector. But it's like the adult collector series, in which they bring back the classics and they repackage them and put them together. You can get those, and they're still pretty pricey for a 2-pack of those laser. But the original ones, you can't. It's almost impossible to find the original ones. I mean, and the customs are going for hundreds of dollars.
Yeah.
So that's often how it works, though, right? It goes to the end of the thing. There's always an event. There's always a moment. It's like some of those, and your Star Wars show, it's like some of those bootleg things.
Yeah.
That get bought from factories that were supposed to make them or not. They end up being the most valuable in the world to top end collectors because they're solely. It goes to the top 1% of the collectors, and they're just not the numbers there to support it.
No, I was thinking, you know, you're talking about those bootlegs and stuff like that, a little different. If you go back, Leo Mattel from India actually produced some too, and they were just different variations and colors and stuff like that. You know, I've known about Leo Mattel for quite a while through the Hot Wheel line that I collect. I've got several Leo ones, and they're pretty tough to find. But looking at these, you know, the Master Universe, He-Man, Skeletor, they all look different and colors and stuff like that. And if you look at Skeletor, his face is the paint on his face is a little bit different. But yeah, it's kind you've got so many different variations and stuff like that on these throughout the different factories that they produced them in different like Spanish and Italian markets and the Asian markets and stuff like that. So, which is pretty cool seeing all those different ones.
And they had like some of their figures and a little bit of variation in lines too.
Yeah.
Yeah. But again, I had that window when I was a kid. I remember the main cast. I don't really go deep on the lore or anything like that past that. And I'm definitely not a completionist when it comes to all the characters. One, it's impossible.
Yeah.
Two, I just don't. It just doesn't resonate with me. So I really just collect more of the nostalgia for me, which is different. I don't know what it is in my brain, but I am very much a completionist when it comes to a lot of things. But it just gets to the point where it's impossible, and in this area, and so again, Skeletor, love him. And I'll buy anything. Like even when it comes to other things, it's like anything Skeletor, I'll buy.
It's talking about completionists. Michael knows that one. His cars are lined up behind him by numbers.
I know that's insane.
Yeah, he we know that, and I'm the same way when it comes to a lot of Batman stuff. If there's a car out there or something that's not necessarily a figure, I'll for the most part will try to get it. Luckily, Michael grabs a bunch of those things for me too, so I don't have to necessarily get it. He knows what's going on, but like I do that with Batman, with MOTU, because of the sheer volume of what it is, there's no way you could be a completionist with this. I mean, without spending god awful amount of money.
Getting these things like the original figures in good condition and
So speaking of value, so we'll jump over. If it's Mike, are we good to jump over talking about value?
Just the other thing I was going to bring up is talking about rare ones. You got that Savage Savage He-Man mail away, the Wonder Bread mail away is what they call it. But yeah, that was another very hard one to find, to come across as well.
Yeah. So I was looking all these up on eBay, and like I said, there's a lot of like variants out there that are different stuff. Some of the new stuff that's trying to pass as the old stuff. So if you are looking to purchase the old classic stuff of eBay, really make sure you're looking at it and do your research. Do your research on it. Some of the big figures that I saw, we talked about Ram Man, and actually here's one classic one. It looks like it's very played with. Went for like $9, not too bad there. There's a lot of like 23 of them with a bunch of their accessories that went for about $1,300. Here's a Buzz Off that went for $30. And all of these have really high shipping too. So I'm assuming that they're trying to get them lower and they're just banking on their shipping. So it's a little ridiculous. Here's a vintage of like 6 figures that look pretty complete for $60. So you're looking at like $10 a piece.
You can get the if you want loose out of the box, pretty complete. They're very reasonable. Like it's not unreal. It's not that expensive. When they get expensive is when you start getting into the carded, graded. It's like Kenner, right? I mean, that's where the money. That's where the collectors are.
There's one lot of it's a near complete one. I was looking through, not quite complete, but it's near complete. Went for about $2,000. So I was like, wow, compared to that and the other one that wasn't quite as complete as that one, going for only $1,300. And these are, like I said, these are all open, and these are all. I didn't even want to look at prices for carded ones. I was like, that scares me. The other big one that I saw, or thing that really caught my eye, was the figures case. And there's one of those. They actually have like 5 of them on here, but they're selling each individually one for about $675.
Yeah.
Wow. So
that's Super 7 made a figures case for the reaction figures that I've never used because I don't take the reaction figures out of their packaging. But of course, but I bought the bundle and it came with it, so it was like an homage to the original character case.
Yeah, here's a Evil Lyn that's actually carded and graded for $75. So some of them not bad, but once you get into some of the big, like He-Man, Skeletor, those are going to obviously be higher priced, and even some of the more rare figures that came out obviously going to be more rare price. Very collectible toys. I mean, obviously. I don't see He-Man going or Masters Universe going anywhere anytime soon.
But it's funny when you look at the value of Funko now, right?
Yeah.
And so, I mean, just I don't know what's more. Now, I'm sure there's when you go, they probably mass produce so many of these things at the time, right? They're pumping them out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when you're selling 800 million, that's a lot of $5 sales.
Yeah.
That's a lot of $5.
Yeah.
And so there's just so much of it out there. And so that's probably why it's still reasonable, because they didn't get
There's so
destroyed.
much.
They're pretty beefy, and they don't break very easily, so they're perfect toys for that. But then you look at like other collectibles that are made from it. And so you look at the values. I don't know if you talk about values of other toy lines, but like Funko versions of MOTU. And you look at things like the Disco Skeletor from San Diego Comic-Con, it's like $700.
Yeah.
It's $700. And that's probably more valuable than any Mattel figure that's not a special rare carded perfect mint, which I haven't seen anywhere. So I can only imagine,
Yeah.
but it's funny how that works.
Andrew, did you looking on there? Did you see any of the play sets?
No, I saw like some of the cars. Here's one for like $33. It's the Land Shark, and then the Dragon Walker was running for about 26. Like I said, these are not carded at all. These are just open, and there is actually a lot of people selling Battle Cat's armor without Battle Cat for like $30.
Yeah.
And then they sell Battle Cat separately. So
Cringer is separate.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's I didn't run across. Wait, here's one. Here's Snake Mountain. This is only $16. Oh, it's got a $62 shipping. So yeah, I feel like they're kind of
Which doesn't make sense because they charge fees on shipping now too. So
Right.
that must be an old way of thinking.
right.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's something going on with this, but yeah, that's the only one that I actually ran into that was a set. Now I know, like I said, this Castle Grayskull that I have, which is the 2000 X model, is Briney got it for a pretty good deal, but it wasn't complete, and then I had to go through and piece out the other pieces for it to finish it off. But I actually got all of that for less than $100 altogether.
Yeah.
So I know the old classical ones go for a pretty good amount. And the individual pieces, there's actually a lot of people that were taking these and taking them apart and selling them individually because you can get a little bit more for them than what you could for the other prices or altogether. So
yeah, I brought that up because I was looking. I saw an ad for Toys R Us, and they had the Eternia playset for $89.97 is what the original price was on that. So I didn't know if you saw a going price on one now. So
yeah, no, I didn't see any now. So, but yeah, we're yeah, we're just. I was just looking at these on eBay. So, like looking specifically, first, yeah. Oh, here is actually this one's kind of cool. It's got a lunchbox with it. It went for pretty cheap, $12 for a lunchbox and 4 figures that went with it.
Cool.
So, yeah. So we do have. Let's see. We have our game to play. We have our toy rankings that we need to do real quick. Damien, do you need to run and take care of anything?
No. Okay. No, let's play the game stuff.
All right. Let's jump into our toy rankings real quick. We are doing things a little bit. We're trying to keep up with things a little bit different now, just to give people an idea. We will be doing a contest coming up in the next. We haven't quite figured it all out yet, but coming up soon, where we're going to actually put some of these. We have our rankings, but we're going to pin some of these toy lines up and let you guys, the listeners, decide which toy line is the master of all of them. So as we get a little bit closer to that, you'll get more information, but know that your say will come into play at some point. So, but before we get there, you got to listen to ours. So, Michael, where would you put MOTU?
I'm going to put MOTU. I want to put that probably at number 4. Right between Voltron and Mask. That's where I'm going to put it. It's pretty high up on my list there.
So Crash Dummies falls out of your top 10.
Yeah.
I think that's okay.
They didn't stay very long.
They didn't.
Crashed right on out of there.
I'm going to assume that Crash Dummies are going to fall out of John's top 10 too, because they're number 10 for him right now. And
Right. So
MOTU for you, John?
I'm going to put them at number 6,
Number 6.
right above the Ghostbusters.
Really? That's actually lower than I would have thought for you, but
Well, I remember more of the Turtles and Voltron, and I remember having the battle damage. Like I remember that one. So
you said number 6 right above Ghostbusters?
number 6 would put them right above Ghostbusters.
Right above. Okay. I should make sure that I heard you right. So
Yes, I'm right there with Damien on age. So it's I remember the same stuff he does. Yeah.
Yeah, we know you're old.
What he was saying. Right in that.
I don't
Yeah, we're
know.
old. We old. Yes.
I don't know how that explains mine then, Michael, because I put mine at number 3, right above Ghostbusters, which is why I asked John. Maybe it's some of the new stuff that I remember the cartoon. I remember watching it like crazy. I remember having just a few that we had to play with. They played with my turtles. It was a lot of fun. And then the new stuff, maybe it's that makes it more a little me remember more nostalgia or whatever. But yeah, it sits at number 3, and Care Bears fall off of my top 10. So
Oh no.
I don't think Care Bears have stuck around for as long as anybody thought they would.
Andrew just doesn't care about Care Bears no more.
Yeah,
No caring.
I don't care that much.
Yeah, it would be a tough list. Your list is pretty good. All of yours.
I think it actually, looking at them, and we keep those on our website, but looking at our list really shows just kind of the generational between the three of us on, what we were doing, how we were out, what we were playing with, what
It was also
our friends
influenced by
were.
what you stuck with.
Right.
Right.
And so, and things that I have now that, so, and Michael has every Hot Wheel ever made in existence. So
It's pretty impressive collection I'm watching right now.
you can't even see half of it.
No, I know. Don't worry. I'm the same boat. I mean, I have these shelves full of stuff. This is nothing.
I think there's 75% of it still boxed up.
Yeah, there's quite a few crates there. I don't know if you've heard the story, Damien, but at one point Michael was using crates for a desk, and then he decided to go buy a real desk.
Yeah, I did.
Which removed a bunch of storage.
Yeah.
That's funny. No, I tried to. I've been trying to. We're in between houses. Like we're renting here now because we just relocated to Austin from Utah. So most of my stuff's still in storage. Now, when we buy a house, that's going to be part of it. Is I want to set up a really good Master of the Universe display, and then I'm probably going to make some tough decisions on a lot of other things once I see the massness of this display.
That's what happened to mine at one point. I had all of my pops laid out, and I was like, oh, this is when I realized I just wasn't getting the enjoyment out of things that I needed because they'd been packed up for so long. And I was like, you know what? I don't really need as many of these.
You don't really need it, but then you go through those regret stages. With
Oh, yeah.
But you just can't look backwards.
Yeah.
Can't look
just
backwards.
try not to. I just look at it like I can get them again. It's fine. I did it once. I can do it again.
And you have to remember that it's mostly your obsession talking, not necessity.
Oh, no, not necessity at all.
No, it's not at all. Right. I mean, like Power Rangers, cool. Fine. I had some things like that I got rid of, like a lot of Marvel stuff. I had like the whole original Marvel set of Funko.
Oh, yeah. I got rid of all my Marvel. That was actually the first thing to go because I was like very much DC.
Yep.
But then all my DC stuff is just all Batman with a few things littered in. So
I only do comic DC. I don't do any of the movies except Flash. And then, but I think I have pretty much every Batman.
Aren't you like Flash proto complete?
Well, of the ones I've seen.
Oh, the ones you've seen. Okay. Yeah, I've got one proto. It's a Batman.
Oh, nice.
And
good one.
That's it. I got it for being Fanatic of the Week. So
Very nice.
Yeah. So it's in its box over there somewhere.
Is it like an original mold or is it which one is it?
No, it is the robot Batman from the animated series.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So, and then as soon as I got it, I went out and bought another one because I already had both the Chase and the regular version. I went out and bought another one and put him in the box so that he's in a nice crisp case.
Very nice. Oh, there you go. Very nice.
If you looked at it, you wouldn't even know what he is because he's just a black figure inside of this box. So it was like, all right. So, all right. We are into our game. We have a few new rules that are going to be taking place over the next. They're going to start this week, and we're going to rerunning it this way for quite a while. The way this is going to work, as always, I will read 3 statements, and you guys will get to buzz in at that point and decide and tell me which one is the false statement. It's 2 truths and a lie. What's going to happen this going forward is if you buzz in and you're the first one, John, you'll probably be the first one a lot, and you get it right, you get 2 points. If you get it wrong, nothing happens, but the next person that buzzes in gets a chance. If they get it right, they only get 1 point, and the person who buzzes in first then loses a point.
But if they get it wrong, you don't lose the point.
So if you buzz in first and get it right, you get 2 points.
Right.
But if you buzz in second, but if first person gets it wrong, and then second person gets it right, they get a point, and they lose a point.
Yes. The first person that buzzes in
what
loses
if both are wrong?
Then I'm going to tell you what it is, because there's only one option at that point. So
fair enough.
I win.
Doesn't get a chance.
Yeah, I win because then I've given the opportunity to actually trick everybody that's on the podcast at that point.
He stumped everybody else. Yeah.
Got
He
it.
gets excited about that. Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah. So
once.
and then with this, because we have a guest, so those are the big rules. That's just how it's going to run.
Yep.
But since we have a guest on, we're doing the giveaway after this. So Damien will rack up his points, and at the end, we'll be able to do whatever he wants with points. He can give them to John. He can give them to Michael. He can split them up between the 2 of them. He can throw them in the trash. I don't care what he does with them. He just gets to do whatever he wants. So
take him a run. Take him a run.
I mean, we can write it down, and next time Damien comes to join us, he can have,
Let's keep adding to my 3rd place. Yeah.
Up to eight points. I mean, we've got 8 rounds today. So
okay.
This is there's a lot of information on MOTU. I don't know if you guys
points then, right?
Oh yeah, I guess up to 16 points if you buzz in right.
I'm not pitching or anything, but
no math here. All right, we have everybody ready in the chat. Oh, and then there's also I guess I should mention this. There's also our new buzzers. So if you get it wrong, you're going to get a big X. And if you get it right, we get the... I really wish I had the getting it right when we had Larry on for the WWF, because it's like the bell. It's perfect for that. So.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah. So, all right. So here we go. We'll run right into it. Round 1. Here we go. Statement number 1. He-Man was a result of Mattel passing on Star Wars and Mattel trying to play catch-up with the action figure market. Statement number 2. Along with a 12-inch Tutus, a 12-inch He-Man and Skeletor were created for release in Europe only. And statement number 3, Mattel repurposed the mold for their 1976 set Big Jim on the Tiger Trail to create Battle Cat. And John, ring in once.
Statement number 2 is wrong.
Statement number 2 is wrong. I can't find my thing.
To be fair, we already got all the answers if you listen to Michael.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. So the more we listen, the more you get it. But
right.
Yeah.
John doesn't always listen. That's why he's not always caught up.
It's not only that. There's some things I catch that, like, I can actually tell you why this one's wrong because Skeletor.
I was about to say, can you tell me
what's wrong? I'm just like, okay, the other 2 are right.
That's right. That's fair.
That's really all you need. You just need to be able to know which one's right. Now, John, can you tell me what was wrong about 2?
The Skeletor.
No, well, actually, He-Man and Skeletor. Neither one of them had 12 inches.
Right.
It was the Giants.
Yeah, it was just the 2. Yeah, and they were in Europe, but hey, that's how it works. All right, let's go. Also, Damien, there is the thing where John is actually closer to me in distance, so his internet works faster sometimes.
Thanks, it travels. Yeah.
So his buzzer gets to me a little faster too. So, All right, round 2. By the power of Grayskull is the most used phrase in all of cinema. Statement number 2. The slime that filled the slime pits were such a hit with kids that many retailers would sell free cans of promotional slime for upwards of $3 to $10 a piece. And statement number 3, the Bashosaurus vehicle was originally named the Ball Buster, but was only renamed after Filmation refused to animate something with that name. Damien?
Let's say Statement number 1.
Statement number 1 was wrong. You got that right.
That's what I was thinking.
You know why that was wrong?
Well, because by the power of Grayskull is not going to be the most used phrase in cinema.
Yeah, I just made that up. It's just like,
I mean, trust me, I like Master of the Universe, but come on. Yeah.
it is actually highly used, but I don't know if it's the most used. It's not the scream of the guy falling off the cliff thing, whatever that scream's called, but yeah, it is highly used. I like how John and Michael had no clue.
The other two are way off.
I remember the ball buster thing. So
I did.
The ball buster, yeah. Oh, and sorry, Damien, I forgot to give this to you. The ball buster thing was actually pretty funny. I read that and it was like, yep, that's going in. All right, here we go. Round 3.
I'm just hitting random numbers, by the way, to buzz in. So,
Oh, it doesn't matter.
It goes over your name.
Yeah, it goes by whoever comes up in the chat first. So it doesn't really matter. That's why I put the round number.
I was just slamming
so
my
I can
keyboard.
There you go. All right, statement number 1. The MOTU movie was largely based on planet Earth due to budgetary concerns. Statement number 2. The MOTU collector's case from 1984 would carry 24 figures and came in 3 different colors. And statement number 3, He-Man's royal alter ego wasn't introduced until the canon until writer Michael Halloran brought the concept to the comics and cartoon story guide. And we have a Damien.
Number 2.
Number 2. Number 2 is correct.
Don't make a bunch of options.
Yeah. So it only carried 8 figures.
Yep.
And I couldn't figure out if it came in 1 or 2 colors because I saw some images of a yellow and a red case, but I couldn't figure out if the yellow. I couldn't find any official thing about what color.
24 would be way too much in a carrying. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Actually, my statement on there was WTF. Why would I come up with that? Who knows? It was a random number that came to mind. I think I was trying to go for, if you say 24, right? Maybe 2 to 4, but I don't know. It didn't work. But John didn't buzz in, and Michael took his sweet little time on rounding in. So
yeah, I was a little delayed on that.
I feel like I'm doing a good job at tricking them up, which is all I really care about.
Yeah.
John, by the way, you are catching up with Michael because you have 2 points, and Michael has none.
0.
Goose egg.
Thanks to Damien for stealing all of them. Like I said, I'm okay with that. All right, here we go. Round number 4. Here we go. Statement number 1. He-Man was originally presented to Mattel executives as 3-dimensional models showing He-Man as a barbarian, a soldier, and a spaceman. Statement number 2. Battle Armor He-Man had a plate on his chest that when tapped rolled back and revealed a plate of scars. And statement number 3. Grizzlor from the 4th wave in 1985 was developed after one of the designers became obsessed with Sasquatch. John.
Ooh.
Dang.
Barely, John. Barely. I heard your button. I heard you both hit at the same time, and yours just popped in right before yours.
3.
Number 3. What's not believable about that, John? Because I think that statement is very believable.
The other 2 are correct.
Oh, so you had no idea? Just
I know the other 2 were correct.
Sasquatch.
yeah, the Sasquatch thing. Everything else about that statement was actually true. Just the dude was very hairy, like ridiculously hairy. What are we? Round 5 now?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4. Here we go. Round 5. All right. Statement number 1. King Randor and the Sorceress were among the first line developed, but were halted due to Mattel's suits, like the executives, believing the original line was too large. Statement number 2. Scareglow was extremely rare and glowed in the dark, which was very trendy in the 80s. And statement number 3. Castle Grayskull was a major feature of Mattel's line and is considered one of the most famous playsets of all time. Michael got one.
I'm going to say the first one was.
You got it right. What's so wrong about that?
They weren't part of the first release.
Well, they clearly had no issue releasing too many.
Yeah, there wasn't any. Yeah.
It's not going to be the reason why.
By the way, so my statement on that was false is that I just made that up. And my statement about the Grizzlor thing and the Sasquatch, I'm just being dumb at this point. So I make little notes on these as I'm going, so I remember which one's fake because they're so all believable. All right, here we go. Round 6. The score is Damien has 4 points, John has 4 points, and Michael has 2 points. So 3 more rounds. John, don't let them get too far ahead of you. All right. Statement number 1. Stinkor was one of the very few toys that never made it into the He-Man or She-Ra cartoons. Statement number 2. Mossman was a green paint of a Beastman. Was a green repaint of Beastman figure covered with fuzzy moss flocking. And statement number 3. The method for making Stinkor toy smell was by mixing the plastic of the figure with a mixture of organo.
Stinky stuff.
No, it's lavender, lemongrass, and oregano oil. Michael?
The first one.
I got to find.
Oh,
It's not right. Stinkor was one of the very few toys that never made it into the He-Man or She-Ra cartoons. John?
Swore he wouldn't.
So, John, here you go. Here's your chance. If you can get it right, you not only get 1 point, you get to take a point from Michael.
that's the second one.
It's the second one. What's wrong about the second one?
I don't know, but I know the third one's right. Maybe. I don't know. All right.
I don't think Stinkor had lavender in it.
That's why I'm going to call it internet connectivity here. 'Cause I hit it right away. I hit it before you finished the question.
Yeah. So Damien had an internet issue. But okay, so he was not he did have some kind of oil, but he was not the 3 oil mixers that I've mentioned. He actually had patchouli oil mixed in.
You made it
with
more
him.
believable by not being able to read the words.
I mean,
That's what threw me off.
Like you didn't write it, like you were reading from somebody, you know?
right? I can't. Yeah, but still.
All right. Nope.
I saw the figures that weren't in the cartoon, but I could have swore Stinkor wasn't on that list, but he probably was. I don't remember.
I actually did. I actually went back and checked that to make sure a couple different places because I was like, I could have swore I saw him, but I think I was mixing Stinkor up with like Merman on some things. So, yeah, was not in the cartoons.
Oh, all right.
And like you said, not being able to read helps. But it had patchouli oil in it, which is why many of them still stink to this day.
Right.
All right, here we go. Round 7. No points for that one because I can't pronounce words correctly. I did a good job at confusing people. All right, here we go. Statement number 1. The Power Sword was originally designed based on a descriptive poem about Excalibur. Statement number 2. Fakor was originally packaged as evil robot of Skeletor, but is presented as a magical creation in the cartoon. And statement number 3. Fisto was renamed to Battle Fist for the 2002 reboot due to the name Fisto being trademarked by Lucasfilm for their Kit Fisto character. John.
Just buzzed in to see if I can make sure I was the first one to answer. I don't know. I'll take 1.
You got lucky.
Point, yeah.
It's the first one. You think anybody like designing these was listening to any kind of poems?
It's the one that sounded off the most, but I couldn't tell you.
Not any of the guys that were on the Toys That Made Us.
No, none of those guys were listening to poems about Excalibur trying to design. What, Damien?
I agree.
Oh, okay. All right, here we go. Last round. The score is
4-8.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I can't spell. Sorry. This is why I don't write English and I just write code. All right. John's got 6 points. Damien has 4 points and Michael has 2 points. So let's see what happens with the last one here. So, all right. Statement number 1. The Manny Faces figure came with an orange laser gun, making him one of the few characters from the toy line to carry a firearm. Statement number 2, it's Meteorbs, I think I'm pronouncing that correctly, released in 1987, possessed the ability to transform from a smooth egg-like shape into some form of an animal or robot. And statement number 3, Saurod and Blade were created for the MOTU movie in 1987 and then were transformed into the toy line. Damien? 3 is correct. He gets 2 points. And do you know what was false about that one?
I just know the other 2 are correct. I remember this. I remember, I mean, Sauron and Blade.
Those 2 were never characters, I don't think.
So, no, Blade was a toy before the movie. Saurod was not. Or Saurod.
I heard you say Sauron. I'm like, Lord of the Rings. And,
no, it's Saurod.
I didn't hear the dot. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
it's SAUROD.
I knew the orbs because they're like these animals.
Yeah,
that were orbs that transformed.
Most of them were like dinosaurs.
They or there was like a lion and a bear. Yeah, there was. Yeah,
something like that. Yeah.
Yep.
So
those Blade was in the 6th wave. He was in that 6th.
Yeah, so it's not one of them. Right. Yeah, Blade. Okay.
So there we go. All right. So we have Damon with 6, John with 6, and Michael with 2. So that puts our score.
Cool.
Let's see. Michael's at 27. John's at 27. Good job, John, for catching up. And Damien's at 6. So now we're going to give Damien the chance to do whatever he wants with his points.
I'll just give 3 and 3.
He's going to do 3 and 3. Look at that. So we're going to round everything off to 30. What do you guys say?
He's much generous than Joey was when Joey gave all of them to John. So
John was way behind you. At that point,
well, it's different. Yeah, you're even now, so I keep it even.
I actually legitimately caught up with you.
I mean, I don't know if you remember, Larry had 700 points, and he didn't do anything with his points.
No, he kept his.
He kept all of his.
Just so you know, I typed in the chat as you were still reading the 3rd question.
Oh yeah, I saw it pop up before you were talking.
Because I had to get ahead. Because if I wait till the end,
so that's the problem. So that's over here, whereas my things are on this side, so I can't see both of them.
Yeah, I mean,
I was sitting there. I had it queued up. As soon as you said the last word, I was going to hit it again.
No, I was waiting 8 times. I knew the first 2 were right.
Well, since you did get that one right, I forgot to give you this. I gotta get better with the dings.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, there we go. That is that's a lot of information about MOTU. I hope everybody enjoyed that. And
looking forward to showing off some things in the lives. They're fun.
Yeah, we're gonna get those scheduled. So as John mentioned earlier, be sure you're following us. Check us out because we're gonna have some fun showing all of the stuff off that we've got. Damien, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you?
Yeah, so I started about a year and a half ago. We started a podcast called Geek Together. At the time, we were just a podcast around collectibles, collecting, pop culture. I'd say pop culture, but really it's toys. I mean, it's different types of toys than you guys talk about. We talk about more current cons, designer toys. We do a lot of interviews with artists and designers, and we have a weekly live show on Twitch. So the best place to find us is Geek Together anywhere you listen to podcasts. We try to we're at almost 100 episodes now published on the podcast, but we definitely focus a lot on our live shows now. Every Saturday night at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern, over on twitch.tv/Geek Together.
Let's say you guys are lined up with names are like leaving my head at the same time. STS guys are right after you guys.
Yes, STS guys are right after us. I think Talking Pops, they were before. Now they're moving around their time.
They're all moving around. Yeah,
they're moving around a lot. But yeah, we're usually right before STS guys. We usually lead right into them on Saturdays when they record their podcast live. We separate ours out when we do a podcast. It's separate from the show now.
Mm-hmm.
So we just do the live show. We kind of show and tell a lot of stuff we got, talk about toys that are coming out, releases, and do a lot of shenanigans with the people hanging out in the chat. It's a lot of fun. Yeah.
I do have a lot of fun when I don't get to hear you guys as much. That's usually family time for us, having a lot of fun or whatever. But we get to hear your podcasts, which I listen to those as soon as they come out or whatever, because I got all kinds of stuff to do with my ears. I know John and Michael try to hit those as much as they possibly can in your lives. So
Yep.
Yeah, I see you guys
I'm
like sometimes. It's cool. Yeah.
I'm usually working Saturday evening, but if I am off, I'll try to catch one.
Yep.
I do listen to the podcast. I was listening to the last one y'all put out right around Thanksgiving. I got a kick out of, I can't remember if it was Robbie or Seth. They said Capricorn instead of corn. The other one.
Yeah.
I got a kick out of that. So
We get a lot of things like that going. We don't have any rules at our podcast for sure.
You got to keep it. You got to keep it. Low
Even
like
our
that,
live
so.
show, we probably spent the first 30 minutes of our live show this week because we found out that Cyberpunk, the game, allows you to have a very detailed character creation. Let's put it that way.
Yes.
So we were talking a lot about that.
I did catch a lot of your last live that you guys did with the white elephant.
Oh yeah, well that was
giveaway,
3 hours worth of live, man.
Yeah, so I was in and out on that one because you guys were on forever, and I kept like just going back to see if you guys were still on, and you were. Quite a few fun games that you guys had. So
that was a lot of fun. You know, a lot of people that we've interviewed over the last year and a half kind of joined up, and we put together this. Really a thank you to people that have supported us for the whole year and a half that we've been doing this and that we're bored at home and everything. And so we literally just gave away 12 spots to people that listened and then gave them free toys.
yeah,
And so we had a lot of great sponsors from, you know, Poppin' Beards to Smile World to Leftover Toys to Tyrion 23, Arcane Toys, Vancer Toy, all of them. Vancer, Bim Toy. We had so many things in these packs. It was just fun. It lasted a lot longer. There was a lot of fighting for the white elephant. It was going for a long time.
There was still fighting going on a couple days after.
Yes.
Because I know Clint was talking about somebody stealing what he had for Larry because I know Larry had.
Well, he had the
step out.
Dahlia. So Christina, that's really cute. You know, our toy, Christina's toy venture was in there. We had a piece in there too, and yeah, that was the one that they were talking about.
Yeah, so I know there was it was like days later. There's still fighting going on about who stole what. I was like, oh my gosh.
Like we did. A lot of people were like, "Do I have to bring a present? Like, am I winning a slot to give a gift away?" I'm like, "No, we're giving them all. You're coming and picking a number." That was really cool.
It was definitely one of the good things. Like we a lot about the Nerd Unite community that we're all part of. It's hugely gratuitous. Like, I mean, so many things given out all the time. Like on Sully's streams, there's so many people giving away subscriptions and all kinds of stuff.
Oh yeah,
So
absolutely.
everybody's always out trying to help everybody, and it's an amazing thing to be part of. So luckily we got lucky coming in. Like I said, we're on episode 20 here, and we got a lot of luck coming in doing our podcast with right into the group and got a lot of publicity from a lot of you guys doing podcasts. So
Yeah.
You
You guys have been great. I mean, I haven't listened to every episode of yours, but I love the history part of it. I pick and choose based on toy lines that I probably care more about than others.
And that's exactly how we expect people to listen.
Yeah, you know, and so you're like, I've definitely listened to a few of your episodes here and there. I remember when you first kicked it off, I was driving down here to Austin. I think is when you guys first started. So it's really cool. I love the history part of it. I learned something.
Yeah. We probably Michael goes deeper into that than anybody ever expected him to, I think. But he finds things that me and John we don't even know where he finds
where
it.
he gets it from.
No, that's the same reason why I love listening to the movie retakes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What they do with Sully's brother.
Matt is great at coming up with
fantastic.
random things.
It kind of reminds me of that, but for toys. I mean, so I think it's you just learn a lot listening to it. Like I even enjoyed the Dune episode. So.
Oh yeah. So it's I know we've had a lot of fun. And you mentioned Deathly Cute. So Christina making the Dahlias. I'm lucky enough. I got one right up here. The
that's
All Hallows Eve. Love that one. So definitely, if you're listening to this and you haven't listened to Geek Together for some reason, go make sure you listen to them. Check them out on their lives. Lots of fun stuff that they're doing, and
thank you.
Definitely something you want to do. So, all right. With that, along with us, we hit 20 episodes, which is pretty big for us.
Great,
we're only 6 episodes from being that big, 6 months in, half a year thing, because we've actually been pretty good about making sure we drop an episode every week. Everybody makes fun of me when they come on as guests talking about how put together I am with my notes and stuff, but I learned that from Sully. So he always talked about that when they started Nerd Foo. you get to keep things together, and it makes things go flow and everything. So I actually just listened to Average Nerd today. They dropped their 20th episode. And so it's a big thing for us all to hit our 20 and pretty close together. So lots of good stuff going on there. Check them out. Check out the Dorksmen, 3 Beers on a Mic, STS Guys, Nerdy Curious, Nerd Portraits, Movie Retakes, the Totally Mad Movie Podcast, Secondary Heroes, and then obviously, if you're on Twitch, you're looking for something, go check out Sully. I know today he was doing a bunch of the stuff for Cyberpunk 2077 and went through a good 10 minutes of trying to put his character together before he even got into the game. I was like, oh my God.
I don't know. In his stream, I don't think he covered the same part we did.
No, I don't think he did. But he was just trying to get all the little details for his actual character. He cut the nudity out real quick.
Yeah.
They made sure that was turned off before he got into it. So
that's good.
But yeah, be sure to check out all the Nerd Unite community. I'm pretty sure there's new people around that I've missed that I need to update our list. Yeah, I got to look at it and make sure it's all good. So, all right. With that, anything else you guys want to add?
Nope.
No, thanks for having me. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming on.
The game. That's important.
Yeah. No. We'll make sure all your points and you get to buzz in faster next time.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, with that and with this,
by the power of Grayskull,
this has been the Brothers Newland and Damien, and on behalf of the Toy Rewind Podcast, play on.